Hello everybody, good morning. I'm still clutching the phone because you can blame my son Simon for the late start, because he says, and you should be psychic enough to know it was going to be late and that he was going to phone. And he said he started on about talking to the dead. So I said, no, I'm not talking to the dead today, dear. I'm doing psychometry. He said, but it's not an ology, is it? Anyway, we'll put the telephone down. I won't read that. What we're doing this morning, when we eventually start, is talking about psychometry, which is how to intuitively pick up vibrations from objects. That in this instance, we're going to talk about objects that belong to people, or that have been worn by people, or had something to do with people. It is possible to pick up emanations from everything that's on Earth. Everything. You can say that the planet itself is like a giant recording machine. And this, of course, without getting too much into it, is the origin of so many ghostly sightings and hearings and things, and when particularly traumatic events have happened in the world, they're impressed even more deeply on the fabric of the world, and people are more likely to see visions of apparitions and things like that, which is absolutely fascinating. But really and truly, it's just we know now that it's scientifically possible to impress music and vision on discs and play it back. So it's just the same thing. But of course, all these people that have seen ghosts and visions and so on should not be surprised if, when they have spoken to them, they do not get spoken to back. Because in a way, very much in a way, it's like talking to a screen. If you're not going to get any response from that, because it's just a vision. So however, of course, this screen can answer you back, I suppose. Good morning to everybody. I see that people are watching. As you know, when I'm in full flow, it's very difficult to actually read the small print. But please take it as read that you're very welcome. Now, what are we going to do? We're talking about psychometry, which is the reading of objects, and how we do it. Now, we know that everybody is psychic in the first place. That just means that you have a soul and spirit, and that you have this intuition that some people call extrasensory perception or extra special perception, but some people call it the sixth sense. So we operate on that level. So if you can think about all the hunches that you've ever had about things or people, it's like looking at somebody and not liking them straight away. I mean, sometimes we can be mistaken. That's the other thing. The thing about anything that's psychic is that it could be mistaken, because you are filtering the information yourself. So you're mentally working it all out according to what you know about, and maybe previously received information, stuff like that. And so you can see how dodgy it is, really, for somebody who is psychic and reading an object and picking up emanations from that, to actually start talking about giving messages from spirit, which is totally different. The spirit dimensions operate on a far faster and finer frequency than ours down here. And it's these vibrations that we are using down here. They're our earthly vibrations that we are working with when we are doing psychometry. It's lovely to have it, labelled thus, because it does sound rather scientific, which of course it is. Now, the secret of people applying science to our spiritualism is, in general, that they say it can only be true if it's successful in repeatable experiments. And then they go on to tell us that mediumship is not true, because you cannot have repeated experiments in it. Well, that is absolute rubbish, isn't it? because not only are we not experimenting anyway, so we'll discard that bit, but the fact is that we can, as my eldest son there said, we can talk to the dead, we can talk to those spirit dimensions, and we can get communications back and relay those. But that is a different level altogether from what we're doing here today. So this is quite fun. And this is something that you can practice, just like we've done before with all the other psychic workshops we've had, string reading, flower reading, crystal balls. Any friend or anybody that you can get to sort of take part in this little exercise will be usually quite happy to receive a reading. And this, of course, you have to say to them, this is a psychic reading and it's from an object. So how do we do that? Remember, before we start anything at all, we say our little prayer, our little affirmation that says everything I do is in the light, with love and in truth, and only for the good of others. So there you are. So that will cover you and protect you from all else. And we can proceed then. So how do we do it? We relax, of course, and we have to I know this is a difficult time, but perhaps this is one of the best times for you to actually try and do this work, because you actually have to physically and voluntarily clear your mind of stress and worry. Now, to do that, you can sit quietly, think about something nice, think about your holidays, think about people you love, think about having some fun, think about what you'll be doing next Christmas, think about what you were doing last Christmas if it was nice and pleasant. Any sort of pleasant thoughts that you have in your store of memory, put them into your mind instead of thinking about the here and now and what's going on around you at the moment. And that is how we can relax and clear our mind of negativity and allow ourselves some uplifting feelings and thoughts, and that will enable us to actually proceed and do this work. Now, I should mention to you that if you want to actually sort of study more about such matters, here I get the book out, the Spiritualist Handbook, which kindly Right Reverend Philip Solomon spoke about last night in his talk about Easter. But here you actually hear and find about psychometry particularly. I start off by saying, of course, psychometry can also indicate very clearly how easy it is to confuse a psychic skill with that of mediumship. Well, we've said enough about that. And there's all sorts of stuff about it in here. So, and of course you can rewind if you want to and hear what I have to say after the event. So let's crack on with this then. And I will say to people that you'll see that, you know, I've got an array of objects here on my makeshift table, which we all know, those who have watched this before, is a biscuit tin from Christmas with a napkin over the top. It makes a very nice table. There we are for these purposes. So I keep getting hold of this chain, for instance. Now, what you do, don't forget you've said your affirmation and you've cleared your mind of all miserable things, and you're just going to tune into this. So here we have a chain. This is a bracelet chain. And here, now you know how sometimes I've poo-pooed the idea of where you have to put your energy into something in order to pick up. But this actually is a situation where it might be very useful if the person who's wanting the reading does that before they give you their object. But I mean, it's fine as long as they've been wearing it or had it in their pocket or had them near to them, you should be able to do it. So we'll say, for instance, this is mine, but you say, for instance, somebody has given you this chain and says, yes, give me a reading from this. Don't forget, you can't give messages from spirit from it. Now, that's the main thing. But you can hold a mirror up to somebody to let them think about themselves, how they are, and their life so far. and it's always nice to be the focus of somebody's undivided attention, even if it's just for 5 minutes, which is probably what it would be if you were giving a reading from an object. Because you, first of all, you have to sit and hold it to you, and the best thing to do is close your eyes and tune in to the actual object. Tune into the object and see how you feel. Do you feel warm? Do you feel cold? Does the object feel warm? Does the object feel cold? Does it start off cold and get warmer and warmer? Does it make you feel irritated? Does it make you feel happy? Does it make you feel sad? Explore all the emotions that you get from holding the object. Okay? And of course you've got the person there with you, usually. And you can start off by saying, you know, for instance, this chain is making me feel very warm and loved, and I feel that you're a very warm person and a loving person. There you are. You see, you've got the clues from this. You can then let it move about in your hand, and if that makes you feel unsettled or that you're not sure which way you're going, what the outcome of something's going to be, you say that too. Say, I feel that this is making you feel you're feeling very unsettled at the moment, and you don't know quite what you're going to do next. And all the time, tune in to this object, and it will give you those emanations that you can pick up. Now, don't worry if you can't do it straight away, because practice, as I always say, makes perfect. Well, near perfect. No, nothing's perfect down here, but you know, as perfect as you can. And then put the old object down there. We're not going to venture now into the realms of then get a link to spirit, because that often happens in demonstrations of psychometry by a medium. They will get the emanations from the object, and then of course their own vibrations will elevate as you will find yourself. Your thought processes will get a little bit more rarefied, and suddenly you could hear somebody say, excuse me, but I'd like to give a message. This is not the time. So there we are. We've put this, plonk this down. If you do get that, what we used to say was, do put that object down and then just talk to spirit as you would normally. Well, normal for us, you see, as mediums. Not necessarily seen as normal by people's eldest sons who ring up at the wrong time, because they know just to be awkward. Now then, those of you who didn't know, my son rang me and made me late for this workshop. It's along the lines of the teacher, I'm sorry, the dog ate my homework. Now then, you might get presented with something like this. Well, that would be most unusual in a sort of public demonstration of psychometry, to be given a shell. But nevertheless, I would like to show you that you can pick up something like that, which has not belonged to anybody other than its early inhabitant, who has long vacated, probably millions of years ago, thousands of millions, right? So there we are. So we've got this amazing, beautiful shell. Don't let anybody tell you that it came up here, it climbed out of the soup and became what it did. No, you think about it, it's ridiculous. This shell has always grown into this shell. It always had a pattern that it was going to grow into. So now, as you feel the shell, okay, so your great aunt Florrie has decided she bought this on holiday somewhere in the Bahamas, and now wants you to read about it for her. Right, so what do you get? First of all, you see lovely sea. Of course, you pick up the sea. You remember in the old days we used to have shells like this holding to our ear. You could hear the sea. And of course, there's lots and lots and lots of creatures. You look at the you feel that of the smoothness. It's been worn smooth over time. But there are sort of hard teeth there, so you feel very much that perhaps the creature that lived in this got eaten. Oh dear. So you see, it's not always happy as an ending when you're doing psychometry. And and then you get this little sort of like a gap here, and you can start, if you want to relate it back to the person who gave it to you. So you can say to this person, your life now is very smooth for you, and there are lots of people that have been in your life but now fairly scattered, because you can see all these dots around but scattered. You can say there is a doorway there still open for you, that you're going to be able to do something new. Even if you think that life has finished its journey for you, that's not true. There's something else for you to do. So you see, you can give somebody a reading from such an object. And while we're on the subject of shells, this one is what we used to call a pilgrim shell. If you look at some of the ancient paintings, the religious paintings, that you will see a shell, and that depicts a pilgrim and the Holy Land. So that's just to show you that. I can't remember where I got it, probably the Holy Land, knowing me, but yes, it's these you can see them depicted in paintings. Now, if you're lucky, somebody will give you one of these, which is a very long chain with lots of different things going on in it. And again, the same process, the same procedure. You just hold it in your hands, close your eyes to sort of relax and see how it makes you feel. And then once you start to feel various emotions, start to tell the person for whom you're reading what you are feeling and what it makes you think about and how they are. So you see this one, this has a heart which is very prominent, and you can say that love is something that is very, very important to this person. And then it's off this ring, this circle, which you can say signifies that this person is married, that there is a circle of love. There you are, you see, there's the heart, the circle of love. And it's very solid and stable, although the love part of it is very, very lively. There you are. So this person's very lively in the way in which they express love. And then, of course, there is this chain is very, very lively. This person's very, very lively, happy-go-lucky. But again, we're getting some spiky bits. So there are some things that this person's not very comfortable with in life and would like to change. But we can't always change. Sometimes we have to put up with things, don't we? Like we do at the moment. We all have to stay indoors or stay safe and stay socially distanced from each other. So here we have it sort of looping its way around. There's been lots and lots of ups and downs in this person's life. Wow, you can say that. But there's so much warmth there, such a lot of warmth. But there's also a love of the cool breeze. There you are, that's what I'm getting. So there you are, you see. That's that. And actually, not to betray any confidences, but Kathy gave me that to add to my little stock of demonstrating objects. Now, I know that, and what you'll also get are watches. Now, of course, if somebody is still wearing a watch in this day and age of mobile phones and technical stuff where you have sort of things on your phone and that tell you what the time is, I called out earlier to Kathy, I asked her what the time was, and before she answered, I said, well, you might as well just, because she said, oh, I think this clock's 5 minutes fast. I said, well, pop outside and look at the village clock, because that will be right. And then she said, called back to me, oh, it's okay, I'll look on my phone. So, you see, I would have looked at the clock outside on the clock tower of the village parish church, but so here we are. Somebody has given you a watch. Same procedure. Start to put your thoughts away about anything that's going on at the moment. Think sort of nice things. Get hold of this object, and you know anyway you've got a good start, because it means that somebody is interested in what time it is, because they're taking the trouble to wear a watch in this day and age. They like to know the time for themselves, without having to switch something on or open a phone up or something. So you can say that straight away. You can see that this watch here is very solid, so they're very solid. They know what they're doing. They're feeling very confident. You can say that this person likes something cold and flat and shiny. Cold, flat and shiny, possibly white. But anyway, so you can imagine whose watch this is. There you are, you see. You're psychically picking up that this is my watch because of the things you already know about me. So then you have this very, very sort of either side, you get a good balance, but one side is a bit top heavy from the other. So there could be a physical top heaviness, there could be a mental top heaviness, they could be geared towards particular things, they could get very keen on particular things and not take too much notice of others. So this might be a very single-minded kind of person with lots of things to be single-minded about. Also, you've got here some very diggy things. So I think this person suffered a lot of pain in their lives. If you get these sort of pokey things like this. Other than that, you've got another side to this person which is very smooth and runs very well. The other side, all sorts of ups and downs and all sorts of things. You could say that this person had a very, very, very bumpy ride, all flattened out okay, and then went on to do better things with themselves there. So that's how to read objects. I hope you found that interesting, and that if somebody, the other thing you can do, if somebody can't give you something, like for instance you guys can't give me anything to read, oh dear, now I would of course read for you if I could, but I could, do you know how? The same mechanism that gives us the reading, our psychic self can imagine an object and read from it there. So for instance, if somebody says that they would like to have a reading, a psychic reading, don't forget, a psychic reading. And as I said, if you practice a lot, start at the beginning and carry on until you're very good at it. I'm not going to say any double entendre jokes there. If somebody would like to say that they would give me an object that they had, then I will read it, because in my mind's eye I will imagine that I am holding that object and read from it for that person. So if any, I can see lots of people are watching, but I can't see any comments. I wonder if I'm able to. If anybody would like to put a comment, don't be shy. If anybody has got anything they would like, say they would like me to read for them. Would anybody like that? I have no idea. Well, we can't sit here and do nothing, that's for sure. So I will have a look and see if there's anybody likely who would want a reading. There you are. So I will do something. I can see lots of people. Tommy Hutchinson. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Oh, thank goodness. Somebody is brave enough to say, oh, I say, it's all coming in now. Somebody's got a glasses case and somebody's got a black handbag. I'll start with the glasses case. I should really write it down, but you know that I always work with them upstairs and my special cooperator in spirit, so they will remind me. But I'm not working on a spirit link, okay? I'm just doing a psychic demo. So Tammy, your glasses case, right. How we're doing this. In my mind's eye, I see Tammy's glasses case and I hold it in my hands as if it's there. My hands feel warm, that's what you'll feel. My hands feel warmer than usual. I get a warm personality coming through there with this glasses case, which nobody can see, but we can see in our mind's eye. You can all do the same thing. You can all imagine Tammy's glasses case. And we'll all make different things of it. But I see a two-tone glasses case. I see black and red. So that to me shows that there's a lot of opposites going on at the moment in this lady's life. So we've got some negativity coming in there that is being fought off by the energy of the power of this lady's personality. So there's this sort of fight always for a good balance there. I say that it snaps shut. It's not one of these that just opens with a zip or anything. It snaps shut. So I would say that this person knows what she wants, and she won't take any prisoners. So it just snaps shut on anything that she doesn't like. That's it. No. Now, the other thing is that I get one side smooth and one side rough. There we are. So we've got one side smooth, one side right. Okay. Oh, and then I see a sprinkle of crystals on the black. So where there's this sort of negative feeling about that and annoyances with people, I then see it sprinkled with beautiful crystals, and that is this person overcoming all sorts of difficulties to being a more spiritual person, and trying to see the best in everybody. There you are. So yes, and I do feel very warm. There you are. It's making me feel very warm as I'm pretending to hold it in my hand. The vision of it, I'm feeling very warm, and I think that this person is also a healer there, because my hands are feeling very warm. There. So that's that reading for Tammy and the imaginary glasses case. So I hope that you enjoyed that, and Tammy can tell me whether it's right or wrong, if she can, or us. I don't know if I see it. Now, I've got a black handbag. Right. A black handbag. Oh, dear. Right. Okay. So, in my mind's eye, I'm putting away everything. You know, what I told you, the process was, the procedure. And I'm imagining that in my hands, I'm holding a black handbag. Now, it's what the handbag feels like that is very important, and it has a very strong frame, the handbag that I am holding. It has a really well stitched handle, so it's very firm and secure in itself. It has a snap top to it, which is unusual, because usually they fold over, don't they, handbags? But this one has a sort of snap top, like an evening bag almost. And this person likes the good things in life. That's what I feel from this bag, that the material is luxurious. It's not common, and there's a texture which is very pleasant. And I'd say that this is a very pleasant person. This is a very pleasant person. Remember, we're relating this bag to the characteristics and personality of the person who is owning it, or who has had it, okay? And I would say that it's quite capacious. It can take on board lots of things. So this person has got room in her handbag for all sorts of different things. And so this person has lots of different interests, but enclosed. So this person has a very keen sense of family and a keen sense of home, and loves being at home. So that's quite good for her at the moment because of the situation we're in. But this person has a love of home life, and doesn't feel too bad that she is actually had to be at home at this time, because family is so important to her. So I do feel that this bag belongs to somebody who has a large capacity for loving others, that unconditional kind of spiritual love too. And I feel that she goes out where she can in the community to help. There. So that's all to do with this black handbag. I hope that the lady who gave that to me can accept those things. And don't forget, this is just psychic work. It's using our intuition, our ESP, our sixth sense. There. So I don't know if any... Peter Martin, computer mice, or a mouse. yes, I suppose you could have mice living in computers, but I think that are, yes, a mouse. Okay. Well, I have one here, of course, which I daren't touch in case everything goes up the wall, knowing me. Somebody, would you like me, Peter, to pretend that I'm reading a computer mouse for you? Right. Well, I will. There's nothing too difficult. Now, Kathy and I did a psychometry event at a pub, and at the Queen's Arms, actually, in Brighton, which is a gay pub. I suppose the clue is in the is in the title of the pub, the Queen's Arms. All right. So on that occasion, we were doing a demo, and people were giving Kathy mobile phones, and I'm sure that if somebody could have given her something like a computer mouse, they would have. Yes. Oh, yes, I can. Thank you. Oh, good. That's good. Right. So now, Peter, I'm going to have a go at your mouse in the same way. Right. You can do it yourself for other people. Right. I'm clearing my mind of everything except for nice thoughts. I am imagining that in my hand I'm holding Peter's computer mouse. Right. Wow. The first thing I get is frustration. I get a frustration that things aren't going fast enough for him. This is somebody who likes to go very quickly and get things done very quickly, and he has that kind of personality, and he finds all of this carry on very, very frustrating, much more actually than the average person. And this mouse is literally trying to escape. It's trying to escape out of my hand and do its work and buzz around and stuff like that. And I'd say that this also belonged to somebody who was a very caring person, but tried to sort of keep that hidden quite a lot. I would say, Peter, that you like to sort of keep a very strong exterior. Like the mouse itself has a very sort of strong casing, but the inner workings are very intricate, and that's what I think you are. I think your inner workings are very intricate, and I think that you hide away your spirituality quite well in ordinary circumstances. But again, this also, I feel, contributes to your sense of irritation when things aren't going fast enough for you, when things aren't changing as you would like them to change, and when you see people doing nasty things, you would like to get in amongst that and stop it. But you're limited to having to do your own work and in your own space and place there. So I think that also I see a very shiny side to you. There's a sort of a matte side and a shiny part of you. So the matte is more resigned to situations and things, but the shiny side is the one that wants to get up and get going and doesn't want to hang about. So there you are. I'll say God blessed you. And I think that is probably all that I can manage for now. I don't know how long we've been chatting. I hope that you yourselves will take this on board and while away the weary self-isolating or social distancing hours with a bit of fun with a friend, because you know, while you're doing this psychic work, you're actually honing up your inner frequencies, and you will at some point find that you are feeling the presence of somebody, or that somebody might come in and gently speak to you. You may open your mind to those possibilities. And don't forget that because you've already made your affirmation, everything you do is for good, in the light and with love, and for the good of others. You'll be totally protected there. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I enjoyed chatting with you about it. I didn't really know how I was going to do it, but in fact being able to demonstrate that you can do it by remote control should give you hope. And of course we're all surrounded by bits of objects, And the one thing we do know is about spirit, of course, that we don't have any objects like that over there. You know, whatever we have around us in our earthly life, we have the etheric duplicates on the other side of life, but they are not solid and they don't give off emanations. There, you see. So, Peter. Oh, spot on. Oh, good. Yes, well, we like being spot on. You see, the thing is, I've been doing this for donkey's years. And as I say, you just have to keep practicing. I can't remember when I first started the mistakes I would have made or the difficulties I would have encountered, because it's all faded into the far distant past. That's one of the good things about getting old, you know. You know, difficulties can sort of fade away and you can sort of put them to one side and think, oh, well. But I do know that I would have had difficulties because it's not an easy job. If it was easy, everybody would be going around doing it all the time. But I do suggest that you have a go at this, and any friend will be happy. I mean, look, Kathy was happy to give me her chain. You know, so that's trust for you. You know, like the old magicians. You know, give me your jewellery, and I can make them disappear. Well, there we are. So I'll say, God bless you. Remember always about this shell, the symbol of pilgrimage, because we are on a special holy weekend now for many religions, and particularly, of course, Judaism and Christianity, because they actually complement each other. You wouldn't think so, because there's been so many problems all this time for the last 2,000 years, but I'm happy to sit here with a symbol of Judaism, which is the menorah, the 7 branches candlestick, and the cross, which has accompanied me on many a service, and to say, God bless you, whatever religion you are, whether you have no religion. It doesn't matter in the end, because we are all human beings of the one human race. We are all spirit within, and we're all attached to the great spirit without. So there you are. Nobody gets away from my workshops without getting a little bit of preaching too. There you are. So I say God bless to you, and do have a go with your friends and family if you're isolated. You know, when you're fed up playing Scrabble or whatever other game, and Joanne Bruno, I know you found an ancient game that you used to play when you were a child and still intact, and you're playing that now. Whatever you're doing, playing a game of cards, whatever, do stay well. If you are not well, I do pray that you get better soon, as we all do. And somebody, Peter, you did it once, Wood Green, all right, okay. Yeah, Wood Green Spiritualist Church was founded by my friend who is now Pastor Spirit, Ida Stenning, the Reverend Ida Stenning. She was a wonderful lady, and she kept me going when my mother was dying, and I was commuting from my house to hers every day to look after her until such time as I was allowed to stay with her all the time. But I used to break my journey and go into Wood Green. There you are. So thank you for reminding me of those lovely times in amongst my own sadness and worries. I used to pop into Wood Green Spiritualist Church, see Ida Stenning, and she kept me going with a firm handshake and the love that she showed. So there you are. So I'll say God bless to all of you. Ask for healing for all those who are sick and suffering at this time. And please don't worry unduly. You know, it's not going to make any difference. You can worry as much as you want. It makes no difference. You know, so why do it? Why not trust that everything will be well? Everything will be all right. Look, you know, I can't tell you how much I've been through, but I know how much you've been through. We've all been through stuff. I mean, even getting here is always can you imagine it? We don't just slip out, you know. As much as mothers would like that to happen, it doesn't happen. And as much as babies, if you think about it, as they're trying to get out here, everybody struggles to get to this life, and then it's a constant one after that. So, you know, don't worry about any of it, because you've all got here and we're all sitting here now, safe and sound, and we have to trust there. So, you know, have a look at the words of Amazing Grace, written by John Newton. He was a reformed slave trader. You don't get worse than that. You really don't. And he managed to struggle his way out of that. And he became a very religious and spiritual man. And he wrote Amazing Grace there. So I'll say God bless you, and lots of love, and I will think about the next workshop. I'll ask my co-operator in spirit what workshop we're going to do next, because she always helps me with those things, as she does with the spiritual circles as well, and as well as other members of group, of course, I should mention that. And don't forget, you can read all about it in the Spiritualist Handbook if you want to get hold of a copy from Amazon. And there are various articles on such matters on my websites, www.lyngibb-de-swarte.com. I did do one. I changed the name to Lyn Gibb-de Swarte, but I'm always worried about that because you might not be able to find it, but I do pay for that. But I know that you'll get me if you do www.lyngibb-de-swarte.com, and if you go to the www.newchristianspiritualistsociety.com, you'll also get some interesting information, spiritual and spiritualist matters. So there you are. God bless you, and I'll see you again when I've decided what other workshop we should be doing. I don't know, what should we should read the tea leaves perhaps next. Right, I'm going to close now.